I being a guitarist, the repertoire of guitar is very limited. I know that. I mean, we don't have like sonatas and orchestras written for like Mozart and Beethoven. There are very few guitar composers, and it's limited into that area. But maybe it's so much that it's not for one guitarist to digest in one life. It is quite a lot. And then, but I am thinking always about something new, because we learn in guitar 19th century music, Baroque music, and and now it's like modern,
neoclassical.
yeah. So this is what it is. What I think that I my heart wants something new all the times, and I felt this even more stronger when I was traveling to Shantiniketan, and I met with these folk musicians, Baul musicians, and I heard them singing, playing their instrument, and I felt something extremely deeper inside, but I could not realize it at that point of time. ওটা হয় না, মানে আমাদের বলে যে যদি খুব deep-এ কিছু হয়, then you realize it later on. So maybe there was something which has damaged inside my heart, which I realized later.
Affected is a better word.
Yeah, exactly. So that was an after effect. So, and folk-এ যা element আমি দেখতে পেলাম, সেটা আমার মনে হয় like very. I don't think that any other music has that kind of element which folk carries, because I mean, see, if you see Indian classical or if you say Western classical, it's all the form of folk. So I think it still have a lot of element and a lot of potential, and I'm slowly trying to bring up the folk music. And because I play Western classical style, then I'm kind of, like it's happening to me naturally. It's blending.
For example, in jazz music, okay, you can improvise, but improvisation is going on a 4/4 beat, or you know that after certain time with the line you get a 5/4 jabi or whatever. But in Bengal folk, it's sometimes dependent on the vocalist or the lead musician, যে কিনা কানেক্ট টাইম সিগনেচারটা কখন চেঞ্জ করবে বা করবে কি করবে না সেটা তার অ্যাকম্পানিসরা জানে না. It's a learning curve, it's a cultural thing that they have to grow with. They know that whenever this thing will come, they can change, or the tempo can change as well. How do you accommodate yourself? But যখন তুমি জ্যাম করো ওদের সঙ্গে, do you feel that challenge? Or
I'm sure you have seen a lot of birds flying in group, or lot of small fishes swimming in the sea, and you see they change their direction together. If one changes, then everyone follows.
Yeah, there's lead bar,
and immediately they do it. I mean, they don't need a lot of big huge communication or any, for what you're saying is like they don't need any kind of thing. It's just a feeling what they have. Just it's going to turn and they turn. So I think in folk music also, when when the person is singing and there are like fellow musicians accompanying him, and it's just carrying on, and at times they reach to a certain level, and when a folk musician or a singer, when he starts to sing, I'm talking about the Bengali folk music, which I have seen it from a very close distance, and I have tried to create those and develop those ideas and thoughts and feelings in me, that how they see, how they look at, how they view it. I think they see their life when they sing. They see everything when they sing, and I think it is like something, it kind of an invisible connection or wire which is connecting to all the other fellow musicians, and they feel it that when the change is happening. Western classical music, I think it is the more structured kind of music what I have ever known. I don't think, because every detail is given. Yeah, every single detail is given. Like you cannot make a simple change in the piece. You cannot do that. I mean, you're not allowed to do that. But if you compare it with Indian classical music, it is just like playing rock and jazz, because you have ragas, you have scales, which you improvise on it. And I'm sure that if one Indian classical like musician or a singer who has performed, so he's not going to sing or play even in his life exactly the same what he has done before. Never. He can never do that. Maybe he will use the same raga, maybe he will use the same patterns or the same techniques, but he cannot give exactly the same copy. But Western classical music is that like you play same thing over and over again, same thing over and over again.
Or before you go to stage, you exactly know that this is what I'm supposed
This is
to
what
play. You
exactly.
you have it on
Of course,
sheet.
of course. The only difference which you can make it in your expressions, in your own interpretations,
Yeah.
because you play the same thing, or I play the same thing. What like millions of other guitarists are playing, but I have a different sound. They all have their own sound.
Right.
So this is where the difference comes. And when it comes to like jamming with the folk musicians here, so I think the basic link is this, like the basic scales are there, the basic scale of the tune,
The main melody lines.
yeah, I think I don't feel so proud to say that Western classical musicians they're not into improvisation, like jazz players or rock players. They think about more tonal quality, the overall production,
Harmonies.
the interpretation, the harmony. Yeah, exactly. It was just not happening. I mean, when I take my guitar and I play with them, then I don't think myself as a Western classical guitarist. I break that wall. I don't keep my mind set into that I am a Western classical guitarist and I am going to play with the folk musicians. I don't do that. I never do that. Otherwise, I will never be able to learn what they are doing. So if I thinking, or if anyone is thinking that this is what I do, that means you are creating walls for yourself. You don't let your imagination pass through the wall. That's what it's my belief. So I just think that I'm a musician and I'm going to connect with another musician. So I think, yeah.
And whatever comes naturally.
Whatever comes naturally, yeah,
in
exactly.
that out of that collaboration.
Yeah. I don't believe in any kind of like a hard and fast rule, or any kind of like making solid, strong principles. I don't believe in that. I think I have a gift that I am already a musician, which I am thankful to this world and God, or whatever you say. And I think I have a gift of communicating with people through my music, and I don't want to stop that communication by creating walls of principles and rules and regulations and
Or
everything.
styles.
Yeah,
or
yeah.